Good communication.
How does the Army make new officers? Well, I was invited to The Ohio State University to find out how ROTC, or the Reserve Officer Training Corps, actually works. And, I came away actually pretty darn impressed with what I saw. And yeah, you're going to see these guys do some combat exercises in a few minutes, and you're going to be pretty darn impressed as well. But before I get started, this video is sponsored by PIA VPN. While I was in Ohio, I stayed at a hotel near the Ohio State University campus, and my hotel Wi-Fi was open, no password. This is perfect for eavesdropping or doing a man-in-the-middle attack like I showed in my video on cybersecurity while traveling. Using public Wi-Fi without a VPN is like having sex without a condom. You need protection, you need PIA VPN. PIA VPN acts as a tunnel between your computer and the public internet that hackers and rogue government agents can't penetrate. And a lot of people use PIA VPN because they want to consume content from countries with access restrictions. You can select what country you want your computer to look like it's in, and poof, your computer can suddenly access Netflix libraries from different countries. That's very useful, but I mainly use PIA VPN for security, and you should too. So click the link in the description below or go to piavpn.com/Macbeth to get 83% off plus 4 months free. Now let's get back to ROTC. Now, an Army officer differs from an enlisted soldier because Army officers are leaders, planners, and decision makers entrusted with significant responsibility and authority. And unlike enlisted soldiers who primarily execute missions and specialize in technical skills or direct tasks, officers focus on managing operations, ensuring the welfare and readiness of their troops, and making strategic decisions. Now, back in the 1800s, there were really only 3 ways of becoming a U.S. Army officer. You either went through the United States Military Academy at West Point, or you received a direct commission, which is usually reserved for technical specialists like physicians or lawyers, or you received a battlefield commission because your officer was dead and you needed new leadership to take their place. Now, additionally, state militias had their own kind of commissioning process, usually through state military schools like VMI or the Citadel, although some officers were elected or appointed by the state governor. But by 1916, with Europe in flames, the U.S. realized that we would need to become a part of this war. And if we got involved, we would need a heck of a lot more officers. So the Reserve Officer Training Corps, or ROTC, was officially established by the National Defense Act of 1916. The U.S. Army needs about 6,700 newly minted officers every year to keep up their numbers, and about 70% of those officers come from ROTC. We literally wouldn't be able to run the present-day U.S. Army without it. Now, ROTC isn't just a good deal for the Army. ROTC cadets who qualify receive a college scholarship. This means the Army pays your school tuition, plus about $1,200 a year for books, and about $420 per month as a stipend. You also get all your uniforms and equipment for free so you can do training. Now, let me tell you about this training. First off, you can actually join ROTC without signing a contract. It's a way of getting a minor degree in military science, and there's no obligation to become an Army officer. So if you're actually curious about the military, it's a way of trying the military on for size to see if it's for you. Now, first-year cadets spend 1 hour a week in a military science class. They also have to attend a lab where they might learn basic weapons handling, plus they have to do physical fitness 3 days a week. And by the way, these labs are actually run by senior cadets, not Army instructors. In your second year of college, you attend 2 classes plus 1 lab, and you'll have the opportunity to attend overnight field training exercises. This is what I went on when I visited the Ohio State, where you get to put your knowledge to work by learning how to move and operate as teams, squads, and platoons. Now, your third year is where things get interesting. If you choose to sign a contract, you'll have an opportunity to go to cool guy schools like Airborne or Mountain Air Assault School. But if you don't contract, it's fine. You'll still get a minor in military science, but you'll also get something else. The commander of the Buckeye Battalion of ROTC at Ohio State, Lieutenant Colonel Spiker, said,
"You're going to be a leader for the rest of your life."
And that's a pretty good deal even if you don't contract. I mean, businesses are always looking for leaders, and this is a fast track to becoming one. Now, these third-year students become leaders inside the ROTC organization. They'll develop plans, they'll lead lower-ranking cadets, they'll coordinate with cadre, basically run things. Oh, and one more thing. I actually didn't know this, but ROTC is actually a pathway to citizenship. I spoke with 2 foreign-born cadets, one from Haiti and one from the UK, who are trying to become citizens. Cadet Omar from the UK said,
I had started pursuing that, and I had a lot of support from the cadre, both emotionally and with a letter of support to add to my file, which definitely sped the process along a little bit.
And Cadet Fanor said,
When I applied and I sent out the information, I said I wanted to be in ROTC. It was during COVID time, so that kind of helped getting the process move faster. Because coming from a country, a third world country who doesn't have a lot of opportunity, being in ROTC gave me a lot of opportunities after college, because otherwise I probably wouldn't even be able to go to college. So that helps me to pay for my college and also give me leadership skills that I can use in the outside world.
You know, for a guy like me, whose family left sectarian violence in Northern Ireland, you know, this really hits home, because I never would have gone to college without the Army either. Now, at the end of your third year, all candidates go to Advance Camp, a 37-day exercise at Fort Knox, Kentucky, where cadets are pushed to their limit in field training exercise designed to evaluate their leadership ability. The cadets then enter their fourth year. Here's where they can bid for their branch. Now, this could be a video all on its own, but basically, cadets interview for the branch they want, whether it's infantry or military intelligence or engineers, whatever. They'll rank their choices, and then they're scored according to their academic record, physical fitness scores, and some other criteria. They compete with cadets from around the country for their branch slots. Now, there is one exception for this, and that is the field of nursing. If you were in the nursing program at college, you will become an Army nurse. And one interesting thing I learned is that at The Ohio State, only 160 nursing students are accepted into the program every year. And 10 of those slots are reserved for ROTC. So if you want to get into the Ohio State nursing program, applying for ROTC is a way in. And this may be the case at other schools as well. If you intend to go to nursing school, check with your college about their ROTC program. So in the fourth year of ROTC, you are now in a major leadership role. You help teach the first-year students during labs, and you also coordinate major exercises. You might even run a tactical operations center and be responsible for briefings and logistics. Then, the day after they graduate, the cadet becomes a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army. The next step is their branch school, where they learn their job and eventually go to their unit. But, you know, I know you waited all this time for combat footage, so let me give you the setup here. I attended an FTX, or field training exercise, with the first, second, and third year cadets of the Combined Joint Task Force of 3 schools, The Ohio State, Ohio University, and Capital University. So, in addition to running missions, these cadets had to gel and work with other cadets that they had never even met. That's hard. Add into it the fact that some of the cadets are first-year students who only have surface-level knowledge of military tactics. For some of them, it will be the first time they've actually moved tactically in the field, and sometimes it does kind of show. They're issued paintball guns, which definitely provide a sense of realism and a motivation not to get shot. Today's operation is a movement to contact, meaning that the cadets are assigned to take an objective and contact is likely along the way. Cadets are assigned leadership roles: platoon leader, platoon sergeant, squad leaders, team leaders, and rank and file soldiers. The soldiers who are in leadership positions have their performance graded by cadre, some of whom are fourth-year cadets. Now, I want to emphasize that what the cadre are looking for here when it comes to grading is not tactical proficiency. These cadets are not branch-qualified infantrymen. Rather, the cadre are looking for how they lead, how they make decisions, and how rapidly they execute those decisions. When I was out with the cadets, one of the exercises we did was a land navigation exercise. 2 of the cadets, a first-year and a second-year cadet, had to find 4 points with only a map and a compass, although they only needed 2 points to pass at their grade level. I walked the course with these cadets while filming, and I did not help them. They found 3 of the 4 points, but then they realized they might not be able to get to the 4th point in the time allotted, and if they didn't make it back to the start point in time, they'd fail the exercise. So these 2 young leaders decided that passing with 3 points was better than risking a failure with 4. So they returned to get their grade without visiting that 4th point. And this might seem like a small thing, but the ability to make tough calls in combat starts out by making the easy calls in training. And these 2 cadets made the right call. I'm really proud of them for that. Back to the move into contact. The platoon leader just received the mission from higher headquarters. The leadership makes a plan using cards and a small terrain model to make sure that everybody is on the same page. The radios are programmed with the day's frequencies, and the squad leaders return to their squads to brief their soldiers. Then the platoon picks up and moves toward the objective. It's been raining, and we move up and down muddy, slippery hills carrying heavy packs. It has been raining all weekend. It is miserable outside, but you know what? Nobody's complaining. They're all focused on the mission. As the platoon moves closer to the objective, the platoon leader gets a feeling they're about to enter a kill zone. They need to cross a low-lying stream with hills on both sides. It is the perfect location for an ambush. The platoon leader instructs her soldiers to drop their packs at a defensible rally point so they have more freedom to maneuver if they hit contact. Then they pick up and move again, their eyes searching for the enemy. Luckily, they spot the enemy first. It's an ambush, but the enemy failed to get the element of surprise. In the military, that's what we would call a failed far ambush. And this gives the cadets an advantage. They come up with a plan to bound by squads and flank the enemy.
Assault, get online! Assault, online!
Speed and violence of action are critical here. This bounding tactic is also critical. One squad moves while another squad provides suppressive fire to keep the enemy's head down.
Down. Team set. Go, go, go. Pick up! Go! Bravo team, pick up! Bravo team moving! Boundary! Bravo team set! Alpha team, pick up!
The cadets reach the stream and keep pouring suppressive fire onto the enemy.
Hey, Bravo! Push up more on the creek! Bravo! Push up on the creek!
Then they spot a single enemy near the stream and engage him.
Hey, there's one enemy still in the creek! One enemy in the creek! In the creek, right below the bar! He's right underneath you!
This enemy realizes that his situation is untenable and he retreats. One of the cadets is hit. This complicates things, but suppressive fire is the best preventive medicine. The platoon has to finish the enemy so the casualty can be evacuated. They push forward past the creek and assault the hill. With the hill secure, the casualty is treated and the platoon consolidates on the hill to prepare for counterattack, as well as search enemy dead for any intelligence. The cadre then end the exercise, and the platoon forms into a circle and conducts a hot wash, where they talk about what went right, what went wrong, and what they can do to improve. The leaders are given their grades by the cadre. They account for all of their equipment, and the new leaders are selected and the process begins again. They'll conduct 3 more exercises that day, and nobody knows when they're going to get picked for a leadership position. So after the exercise, they fire all the leadership, pick new ones, and start the new mission. In my opinion, these soldiers did as well as could be expected for a bunch of cadets who never attended infantry training. But again, this isn't about tactical proficiency. They'll get that once they get their branch school. It's more about how fast they can make a decision. And in this case, the platoon leader's decision to both drop their packs at an objective rally point and assault through a failed ambush actually worked well in their favor. What really blew my mind is that none of these cadets really had to be there. Especially the first and second year students who weren't contracted. While their friends were sleeping or playing video games, these cadets were working through the rain, in the cold, in the dark. Fraternities and sororities consider themselves to be brotherhoods or sisterhoods. But how many of your frat brothers would drag your wounded body up a hill under fire to save your life? You know, I think Cadet McCann said it best when she said,
I think the best part about this program is just the people that are here every single day. It's a close-knit community at such a big school, and it's just people that are here every single day that want to see you become the best version of yourself and push you to be better every day.
amen. You know, if this is the future of the Army, I think we're doing just fine. There are a number of people I'd like to thank who helped me with this video. First off, Captain Boyle, who invited me to the program at The Ohio State, Major Conway, who works tirelessly for his senior students, and Lieutenant Colonel Spiker, who manages the whole battalion. Without you gentlemen, none of this would have been possible. Any mistakes I've made in this video are purely my own. If you're interested in ROTC, you can find out more at goarmy.com or check with your local college. They'll probably have a program. And hey, if you want to support the channel, head on over to Bunker Branding, where you can get my Intel Life t-shirt. I also still have signed copies of The Wind Machine available. You can also find them on Kindle or on Audible if you're a Marine. And thank you guys so much for watching.
It's me, Captain Bannon of the documentary Team Yankee. When I'm not kicking commie butts, I'm wearing t-shirts from Ryan Macbeth, available at Bunker Branding. Knife hands, HIMARS, landmines, Patriot, and even my favorite, the TOW missile. Mushna, we want t-shirt too. Take a hike, commie. So come on down to Bunker Branding and take a stand for what's really important about America. Capitalism.